So, I might be contradicting myself a little bit, but there is a previous video. I'll tag it, so I think it goes up here, I'm not sure. If not, I'll link it at the end of the video. But I did a video talking about fisheye lenses. In particular, this, is it the Rakina? No, this is the Neoware one. The Neoware 8mm. Come on, there you go. 8mm fisheye. And aspects to it. So this one, as I said before, it's got your f-stop ring there, and it's got your focus field. Big pane of glass. And this weird metalish hood to reflect the sun. I think in that video I talked about the benefits and the use of this up against a more professional version of the lens. And I highlighted factors like if you're just using it for the fun of it, then this is a much better alternative because you don't necessarily need the features to do it. However, I've been taking more skateboarding photography. I've noticed that when shooting on this, because it's a manual focusing lens, you've got your f-stop control on the dial, which isn't too difficult to do. It is just hold and twist as you're taking the photo, which isn't too dissimilar from moving a dial. But the rate of missing on that is obviously higher because the objects are moving into the frame and out the frame. So I did end up going and getting the Canon version 18-15 fisheye lens. I do quite like the hood on this one. It's a lot nicer than the one on there where you press the button and off it goes. It's got a little catch thing on the side as well to help you release the hood, which some people like it, some people don't. I don't mind it either way. It doesn't really do anything for the wideness of the image yet. I haven't seen any problems. Some people have said that it appears in the photos. Can't say I've noticed. Yeah, that's what this has gone with. It has got an autofocus on this side. Let's autofocus, which is helpful. And then you've got your millimetre range along the barrel of the lens. If you've been watching my skateboarding videos more recently, a lot of the wider angle shots would have been taken with this. At the moment I've only tested it on the 7D Mark II. I'm going to see how it fares with the adapter and the RP, just to see how that difference is. I don't know whether it will work or not. I think the autofocus might struggle a tiny bit because of it's already an odd maths because of how wide the lens is to the sensor. I don't know if adding the adapter will make much of a difference or how much of a difference it will be at that wide angle. At 15 it's just a nice landscapey lens. It's not particularly distorted. I mean, it's still a little distorted because it's so wide, but it's not like the fisheye version where any horizon lines or parallel lines bend to the middle. So far so good. It's a nice solid lens, very metal, very sturdy. The element's really nice and clear. This goes to F, it's F4 isn't it? Yeah, F4. I haven't yet shot at F4. I don't really know why you'd need to again with a fisheye lens. It's already shallow along the edges, which isn't particularly helpful because it's struggling to keep up today. The battery's fine, but it's just struggling to keep up. F4 is quite soft even on this sort of lens. You know, you can see with my hands there, it's out of focus, my eyes are in focus, the background's a little bit blurry. So F4 on something that's already soft around the edges, it's going to be quite milky. I don't know, I might try that and see how it works. But generally speaking I keep it to F8, F11. The background's usually busy and far enough away from the main subject in the centre of the picture that F4 isn't necessary. I do like that it's got an autofocus. I've really enjoyed that aspect for things that are moving quickly and getting that exact focus. For some things like where there's a ledge and you don't need to pan and shoot, you've already sort of set up between you and the talent or the athlete or skater. Whether you've seen them do the same run 50 times, they're coming into this particular ledge, they're doing between there and there. I can focus on the coping, or I can focus on the ledge or the angle, and I can just throw the lens in, press the button, pull out, put it on a high shutter so it catches 2 or 3 variants of it, or one shutter if you know exactly what you're going for, or like a low fast shutter, and that will capture the image and hold it really well. Here is an example. I'm going to do a comparison of both lenses in a different video, just to highlight some of these aspects and show off what I'm talking about. Do I think this is any worse than this? I think this is better, but only in that it has the autofocus. I think it's got slightly better glass in it. It's got a USM motor, so it's a bit quieter. Doesn't really matter for the sort of things that I'm videoing and photographing with this. It's a lot quicker to change the aperture on this. If I want to put a shutter speed, shutter priority on this, it will just cycle through the apertures and the ISOs, whereas if I'm doing that with this one, it won't. That's another bonus to this one, but it's not really, again, I tend to chuck this on f8, f11 and anywhere between 0.7 and a metre, because the edges are soft and anything in the middle of the frame tends to be sharp at f11 anyway. The same goes for this. Anything that's centre point forwards is relatively sharp, the edges get a bit softer as it bows out and distorts. Yeah, it's definitely improved. I haven't photographed anyone where it would be pushing the elements of this, like the autofocus and the aperture range yet. I haven't been into a darker space or into a lighter space and needed to really see where some of the benefits of having autofocus and that really come in. It has been helpful. My consistency rate has gone up because of it. For some things that I'm shooting manually focused for, because again I know exactly where they're coming past, I just want that one point in, I don't want it to then jump to somebody else. It works really nicely. Yeah, it's a good lens, good solid lens. Yeah, I think I'm going to go show you some more video clips and some photographs that I've taken with it, and then we'll come back and talk. Pretty good, quite like it, does a good job. I think if I chuck on the adapter and focus on using my RP with the R to EF mod, it'll do the whole fisheye at 8mm, maybe even 10mm. We start getting the vignette slash barrel in the image. 8mm, I don't tend to like the images that much at the moment, especially the ones in the skater room. That was a bit of a lapse in judgment. Didn't use my flash because all my batteries were dead, my little AA batteries, so I ended up using just bumped up the ISO, which when you then try to blow up or crop into the image or do anything and edit to get those shadows out a little bit more, like the raw looked fine, but then you just bump up the shadows a tiny bit and it starts to just crumble away. I know there's ways around that and there's editing tricks to prevent that or to lessen the amount, and you can go back into your sharpening options and decrease it there, but bumping up the ISO is never the best result. You should always try to find a way to bring in more light, either naturally or by adjusting the shutter speed and aperture first. But then with the aperture you get a bit of hunting focus, and then it's easier to miss because you're dealing with shallower depth of fields. It's been a good lens so far. This is my fourth day in a row skating, and I've shot a fair few days of it with the 8mm fisheye and my new GoPro, which I'll make a video of shortly, probably whilst I'm out in Newquay. The lens has done pretty well. I think it's definitely this sort of sports photography more than it is for, I mean, at 15mm it's quite nice for landscapey shots. You know, it becomes like the 16mm Canon. It might not be your mostly used lens. It, you know, fits with sports that have got this sort of background to it. Yeah, it's a good bit of lens, good bit of glass. The focusing is really good. It does definitely beat the Rocking Ons or Neoware or Takinas and all that. Nice splash marks on the helmet. I've been debating on whether to put a GoPro mount on the helmet, somewhere like there. But I've always thought that when you introduce that onto hit any blunt force, gives it more of a cracking possibility. I mean, I can always put it on the side, looking out to there sort of thing, angle it in a bit, maybe down. Maybe I'll have a try. Yeah, it's a good lens. I'm going to go shoot some more with it today, hopefully finish off the video, and yeah. Oh, sweaty. It is, what is it, July 30th, 29th.